What is a completely bad thing that is now so pervasive that it isn't wrong? Story 1. Your boss expects that they can contact you at any hour. I had a pretty good boss who rarely contacted me outside of work hours unless it was important. I work 12 to 8 p.m. and stay up late. At 1 p.m. I got a phone call. Hey, everything okay? I'm really sorry to call. I stayed late to organize the storage closet and I just locked myself out. I figured you'd be the only person with keys that might be awake. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'm clocking you in for an hour for this. Yep, your manager is awesome, and fair play to you for helping out. This just reminded me, when I was younger, I worked in a retail store for minimum wage despite running the place 3 days a week and being the second key holder, but I was a poor student and needed any job I could get. One day I left the other key holder to lock up for the day and I left early. I walked 4.5 miles in the rain and just arrived at the top of my street when I got a call. The store alarm was going off and they couldn't figure out how to switch it off, and could I please go back to stop it? Turned around and walked 4.5 miles back, still in the rain. I got to the store and the shutters were down. Called the guy and got, "Oh, we managed to fix it. We forgot to call back, sorry." Cue another 4.5 miles in the rain. I quit as soon as I could find something else. No thanks, no pay, nothing. Most of my coworkers just turn off their phone when they go home now or leave it behind. One made an auto text message saying, "I work from 8 to 16. I straight up blocked my boss one time and said I only answer the phone for people who would come to my funeral. I started adding the phone calls to my timesheet as overtime. Never got a call again. Damn, thanks for these awards. Exactly. I don't even feel bad about it, nor should anyone else, and I only bill in full hour blocks outside of Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. If you don't draw boundaries, then they have zero inclination to observe any. Worked 9 straight days last week. Yesterday was my day off. Boss called me 3 to 4 times starting around 9 in the morning. Yeah, needless to say, that messed up my entire day off. Really wish my wife would get this. Her work is effing horrible with this, and they text all the time about all kinds of meaningless BS. Just stresses her out when she's out of work. Just effing ignore me. You ain't at work. F that noise. My boss will call me at 10 p.m. at night, but if I call him midday while I'm at work, he'll say he can't talk to me right now. Our society has somehow glorified giving your life to your job while the job gives you, the workers, less and less. Look, if you want to work hard, that's great, but make sure you're getting treated correctly. Any company that expects everything from you should be willing to give you everything in return. They aren't doing you a favor. They are paying you for keeping them running. Story 2. Harvesting as much data as possible. You have to go to some extreme lengths to prevent your personal information being sent to random strangers you've never met. For anyone with the aptitude, Pi-hole. You essentially set up a tiny PC and route all internet requests through it, then give it a block list. Nothing connected to your network can complete requests to domain on the block list. Phone, PC, smart TV, washer, fridge, etc. Nothing. I honestly can't remember the last time I saw an ad, and it can block anything trying the phone home in the background as well. Bought a Samsung TV, and setting it up required making a Samsung account. They know by the time you unbox it and place it that you have really no recourse but to relent and provide your account info. Effing extortion. I created an account in my dog's name for every item I purchase that requires me to provide an email to activate. My dog receives invitations to retirement seminars and assorted other advertisements. Give your pets some fun hobbies and create some crazy data for their customer analytics projects. This is my last Samsung phone because of the things they keep trying to force on me with every update. Story 3. Having no regard for your mental health / peace of mind in the name of hustling. Funnily enough, having no work-life balance is flaunted. I've never taken a sick day. Yes, Kathy, I know, from the time you gave me the flu. Yep, not taking sick days when you're sick is just wrong. Our QA manager infected our whole office, 12 people, because he had pneumonia, or COVID, it was before the whole crap storm became widely known, and couldn't take time off because he was needed. Poor dude was going to the hospital after work to get IVs just to be able to go back to work. I was the only one who didn't catch it somehow. The colleague next to me was off work for 3 weeks and another ended up in a hospital. I have a decent job, not high paying, but covers the bills with some extra and has good benefits. I work 8 a day, 40 a week, and go home. One of my friends is always pushing me to side hustle by doing Uber or getting a second job, etc. Talking about how much more I could be making. Sure, but I value my mental health and relaxation time with my wife far above the extra couple $100 a month. People seem to think if you're not squeezing every bit of potential profit out of your life, you're wasting it, when in reality, they're just living to work. I've seen some folks who hustle for the extra cash, working 70+ hours a week, busting their butts, and guess what they do with their free time? Sleep, drink, and physically recover from the amount of work they've been doing, sometimes after a doctor's appointment because they're pushing themselves so hard they get sick. Look, there's nothing wrong with putting in a little more work at times when it's important to you, but folks, take care of yourself, or all the extra money is going to be for a retirement you might not make it to. Story 4. Making terms and conditions overcomplicated and long. Interestingly, because they're so long and dense, there have been several court cases in the U.S. stating that they are not legally binding since you're not expected to accurately read it. Yeah, you can't have any gotcha clauses hidden deep within the boilerplate. Companies have to show that any unusual terms and conditions were communicated in such a way that the consumer knew exactly what they were getting into. I'd respect a company if their terms and conditions were an 18-point font. By clicking I agree, you're agreeing to not sue this company for any reason ever. Also, just so you know, we will collect your data and sell it to third parties. I work for a company that has this, and unfortunately, it constantly backfires. People take the plain language as threatening when what it's really doing is being upfront about the terms and conditions without hiding behind fine print. Story 5. This has changed a lot since COVID, I'm assuming, but people go to work when they're sick. Not sure what it's like in the rest of the world, but I feel like in the US, we've been conditioned to feel like it's worse to be an inconvenience by not showing up to work than going to work sick, miserable, and getting everyone else sick. Yeah, I remember working in food service and trying to call out sick, and the managers arguing with you to come anyway if you couldn't find someone to cover the shift. Theoretically, you could expose not only coworkers, but tons of customers. Great company policy there. I don't know about everywhere in America, but it certainly hasn't changed anything at my place of employment. If anything, it's made it worse, because now they just say, well, it's not COVID, so I'm fine. My boss bragged yesterday about working through COVID and working the day her dad died. I was trying to tell her I don't think those are positive things. She's unhappy that I'm taking half a day to get my shot. Meanwhile, they give us 15 vacation days but look down on us for using them. It's May, and I've been out sick one day all year, no vacation. I hate my job. Yeah, I've worked a lot of those jobs, and yeah, it's stupid. They expect work to be your top priority in life, but treat you like crap. Oh, but you gotta put in the work so that you can work your way up, maybe, unless the owner's second cousin needs a manager position. But hey, at least they're putting away a pension so that when you retire... sorry, what's that? Oh, Deb just told me you're all fired because of some legal shenanigans. You lost your pension and all the retirement stuff, and frankly, you'll be lucky to get that vacation pay in a few months. And if this sounds like me blowing things out of proportion, this happened to 3 out of 4 of my parents. Dad, stepdad, and stepmom. All did the grind, were super loyal and hardworking, and their companies each screwed them over. Employee loyalty can kiss my rear. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day. Story 6. Bosses threatening your job or hours if you call in sick or use vacation time at inconvenient times. Agree, going to work sick was also one of those accepted wrong things. Hope mindsets changed now. I had a job 5 years ago where the boss was an a-hole. We were on a deadline on a project, but I was so sick I was hacking up stuff and generally gross. He told me to come in anyway, and when I got there, he gave me cold medicine like I didn't have medicine at home. Obviously, I wasn't very productive, and everyone had to stay away from me. It was ridiculous. I've been told before, yes, technically if you're sick, you can take the day, but we really want people who are going to put in that extra effort, and sometimes we just expect you to suck it up and do what you gotta do even if you're not feeling good. I took the day off sick anyways. My first ever sick day in a little over a year, and was cut 2 days on my schedule the next week. When I asked about it, I was told that I wasn't reliable lately and needed to prove myself again to get my hours back. Story 7. Short-term diet culture. Gonna consume nothing but lemonade for a week straight. I definitely know what I'm doing. Gotta get rid of those toxins and rejuvenate your cells, girl. My mother has a subscription to Woman's World, and they have a new diet on the cover every week. I lost 50 pounds drinking a liter of apple cider vinegar every day, or something to that effect. It's easy to yo-yo that way. Change your diet. Don't go on a diet. Story 8. I struggle with this because I've mostly cut out Facebook. Only check Instagram once or twice a week. But this site is my big one. I hate staring at my phone for hours, but when I'm on this site, I feel like I'm not mindlessly scrolling, but rather reading interesting articles and conversations. So it's hard to get myself to stop because I feel like I'm gaining something from it, but there are other things I'd much rather be doing. I used to feel like this too until I realized that I was just filling my head with useless niche knowledge and training my brain to see everything as a debate. I log on far less frequently now. I think this site should be something you do for 2 hours a week and then stop, preferably on a PC. Sees this while reading this site. F. Can you imagine what it would do to someone's brain to read stuff from that site every day, for hours a day? The way it must affect a person, twisting their perception of reality. How it must eat away at them. Probably for the best, you just let that one person bite the bullet, and the rest of you can just listen to the best of those threads on YouTube. Then only one person must endure the madness. Story 9. A job making you seasonal/part-time but works you at least 40 hours every week, never giving you full-time wages or insurance. 39.5 hours every week. I worked at a big box store that would send us home early if we were close to going over the old 39.5. They would also have us take a day off in order to kill overtime if we had stayed late during the week. The hourly contract that was advertised as part-time, but you work 40 hours per week without the benefit of a permanent full-time employee, no holiday/sick pay, etc. Story 10. Talking on a speakerphone while in a public place. Seriously, F you. Or who play their Bluetooth speakers on trails and other natural places. Literally the last place people can go to get away from modern noise. Oh my god. In the city, I've seen people walking around with their Bluetooth speakers blasting music. They'll do it on the street, on trains, and even on the bus. Like, what the F? Just wear headphones. We all don't want to hear your music. Story 11. Taking pictures of random people and turning them into memes. I hate them. There seems to be a lot of pictures circulating on Facebook of people who are very obese, very underweight, or not stereotypically attractive with things like, your third ad has to go on a date with this person. The comments are usually really cruel. This is a photo of an actual person. Can you imagine if hundreds of thousands of people were mocking you in a photo? Disgusting. On the plus side, when I see these, it helps me easily identify D-heads I no longer want to associate with. Story 12. Using your children to become an influencer. I have an Instagram page where I share play ideas as an educator, but my kids' faces are never in the photos. I don't mention their names either. So many parents with similar accounts are posting daily numerous photos and videos of their kids to thousands of followers and getting them involved in live feeds and stories. We've got a generation of kids who in 10 to 15 years' time will have their entire childhood documented online, and it will all have been done without their consent. In my country, we have this very famous couple of influencers who literally film their child all day long. Everything is documented and posted on Instagram. Now they just had a second baby, and their child, who's 2 maybe, is madly jealous, yet they keep filming him and posting videos where this child is throwing tantrums and crying because he hates his sister. I'm so disgusted by it. Just leave your child alone. Let him have a normal childhood without being constantly at the center of strangers' attention. I'm so worried about both those children. FYI, I don't follow them, I don't care about them, I even blocked them so I wouldn't have to see them, but they're super famous here, so I know everything because everyone keeps talking about them. It is bad enough what children are put through in Hollywood as actors, where there is a union and rules in place. So many child actors have horror stories and are messed up from going through that. Now, take away those protections and just make them influencers online, and frankly, it worries me. This is still kind of the Wild West, no place for kids. I say this like I'm even remotely an influencer. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.